Hi, thanks for joining me again. This week I'm going to ask the question, what will happen next on this chart? Will price continue higher, or is the uptrend over and price will start heading lower? If you'd like, you can pause the video for a while and study the chart and the associated volume. It's not a trick. I'm not trying to catch you out or show you something unusual. I want to see if from what you've learnt so far, you can work out whether this chart is likely to go higher or lower. Now I'm going to run through the chart, then you can make a final decision at the end. Okay, you can see this chart has been trending higher and price has been moving as it would normally, pushing higher, consolidating, pushing higher again. And at this point here, price accelerated higher, but eventually closed near its low on quite an increase in volume. This is potentially a VSA style upthrust. This is supply that's come in. It's most likely come in from below, which is profit taking, but it's only a potential upthrust. Sure, some supply has been drawn out, but that does not mean that it's all over and the market's going lower. In this case, you can see that price never really traded below the low of this bar, and instead the market went into a period of consolidation, a period of testing, a period where the market was attempting to absorb any supply that came in. If you're down here, you can see that by this period here, volumes became very low. That's this period here. Volumes became very low. So supply was not an issue again at that point. So price pushes higher. You can see it's on an increase in volume. And after a couple of little periods of consolidation, price accelerates out and effectively attempts to break out on strong increase in volume. On the next bar though, volume was even higher and the close was off the daily high. Actually, let me just show you this. Price broke out here. This was the breakout volume. Now, when price breaks out, volume generally increases. That's what you want to see. Price really accelerate out. You can see that price moved from this high and it closed at this high. So it made this much ground on the breakout. Perhaps not an exceptional amount, but it is increased over all the previous recent bars, apart from this one, and it's not an issue. The next bar, however, was on quite a bit more volume. You can see that price has closed off its high, but the close was here. It's only made this much ground on more volume. It made this much ground initially, but it's only made this much ground on an increase in volume. Further supply is being drawn out in the market here. Now, a market generally won't continue higher when there's supply in the market. So look at the response. There was an attempt to test, and you can see that volume was low. And then when the market tried to push higher, there was no supporting upside volume. And then on the fourth bar, demand was very low. It can be hard to turn a big ship around, but this market isn't supporting higher prices at the moment. This market probably wants to come back and at least go through a period of consolidation and absorption again, and perhaps even push down a bit harder and shake out and try to remove that supply. So in response, price pushes lower, very unsurprising, and then there's a little period of uncertainty where the market doesn't continue with very much downside follow through. You can see that here's the previous lows, and then price accelerates again on an increase in volume here and pushes down below the previous closes, all these previous closes. This is the most recent previous close, and then it was all of these ones, and including where this supply initially came out from. This is threatening the sellers in the market to come out. It's effectively saying you're going to miss out on these prices. So if you want to get the highest price possible for your selling, you better sell now. It's a threat to the sellers in the market, and that's one way of removing them. And then on this bar, you can see, look how high the volume is. Price closed up high on the bar. The spread of the bar reduced considerably on all of that volume. Now, if all of that volume was selling, you would have expected price to slice lower with increased spread and a poor close. But that didn't happen. Instead, spread reduced considerably and the close was high on the bar. And then following that, the next two bars were higher. The second bar in particular had almost the same huge volume. They're the highest and the second highest volumes on the whole chart. Firstly, where you might suspect buying has come in, and secondly, on a buy the offer bar where price pushes up and importantly closes above the high of the initial down bar. Does anyone know what that is? It's very important, this close above the high of the initial down bar. Now altogether, this is likely forming a shakeout over 4 days. A push lower, an absorption of the supply. There was some testing in this bar and perhaps a little over enthusiasm, and it closes an up bar, and then a buy the offer bar in response. Now, I have a video, goes back a fair way. It's called Bullish Reversals and How to Identify Them, and this is an almost textbook bullish reversal. Generally, in response to a bullish reversal, you'll see prices move higher. Now, a bullish reversal will often have its up bar on moderate or lower volume, and it rises within a supply vacuum. In this case, it appears more like a buy the offer bar. The offer still had quite a bit of supply stacked in it, and it was bought up. So between this bar and this bar, we're probably looking at the market wanting to hold more stock. It was like an accumulation. So an up bar, a widespread up bar on very high volume, will normally see some testing in response. And effectively, the higher up on the bar the testing is, the stronger the market. If the testing comes back to the middle of the bar, it's still quite strong, but not as strong as if all the testing is done up near its highs. If the market pulls all the way back to the lows, it leaves the market vulnerable to further supply issues. So, the answer is now. What will happen next? Will price continue higher, or is the uptrend over? You've had supply coming in here and supply coming in here. You've had some consolidation and a bullish reversal, which is taking the form of a shakeout, usually does. Here comes the answer. price accelerates higher. There is a period of testing, right up high on the bar, price breaks out. There's one more bar of testing and absorption before price pushes higher with some real intent, moving past the previous highs and continuing higher. You can see just here, a little period of bullish absorption. If you look carefully, here's the clustering of closes. You can see the pressing nature to the upside. And there's a threatening down bar with no downside follow through. And you can see price quickly breaks out the top and continues higher. Now hopefully you got that right. If not, you might want to watch it back and have another look. But despite the supply coming in here and here, this market was bullish. So hopefully that helps you. And hopefully you find this was beneficial. Let me know in the comments if it was. And I'll do some more like this in the future, where I give you the opportunity to analyse the chart before showing you the result. See ya.